E Rachel,
Ciao,
come stai?
bene, tu? Ho
Bene,
fatto
bene.
una corsa perché stavo a un ceno di famiglia.
Wow.
Poi dovevo decidere, mi ero portata al computer, dovevo o connettermi da lì andando, appartandomi. Poi mi sono ricordata che mia figlia di 15 anni si deve alzare alle 6. Ho detto no, facciamo la corsa, andiamo a casa. Quindi abbiamo salutato tutti al volo. Io credo che torniamo al martedì comunque, perché la seconda volta che Mark mi dice no, no, martedì, facciamo mercoledì, poi non viene, quindi a me viene meglio di martedì. Mercoledì è un casino.
Per me va bene abbastanza sempre.
Mm.
Diciamo, come vedi, lo scenario è sempre lo stesso.
Sempre no, però dopo 2 volte, la prossima volta dice cambiamo, no. Caro, se ci vuoi esserci nel martedì, altrimenti ciccia.
Esatto. Serendipity token.
Sì.
Mi ha speso tutti i suoi serendipity token.
Poi ti dirò un'altra cosa, mi sono anche stufata di mandare i reminder personali a Daniel, quindi se ci vuole essere, legge e clicca sul link, perché
Serendipity
io non
token
faccio,
number two.
faccio più la mamma agli adulti.
No, ma poi diciamo, cioè, anche un discorso, cioè, visto che ora stiamo andando verso questo nuovo, questo, tra virgolette, scaling della community, cioè, ci aspettiamo che ci sia un commitment differente.
Sustainability anche a livello personale.
Esatto, cioè, c'è un commitment differente perché se no rimaniamo, cioè, le cose devono crescere insieme.
Mhm. Esatto.
Comunque è interessante, cioè, questo lunedì ho parlato con Nancy e Lucy, un'altra, no, erano solo Nancy e Lucy.
Atma c'era?
No, no, quella volta non c'era. No, cioè, anche diciamo il discorso della reunion, c'è una cosa molto interessante che sta prendendo forma. E secondo me quello è proprio davvero l'evento dal quale poi diciamo, le cose vanno su un next level. Secondo me, cioè potrebbe, cioè, abbiamo l'opportunità, poi sta a noi coglierla.
Sì.
E Nancy, secondo me, prima che diciamo venga, cioè sia troppo tardi, tra virgolette, secondo me è bene magari parlarci un po' più, fare una call, magari invitandola a una di queste call qui,
Mhm.
perché comunque lei ha delle aspettative, tra virgolette, sulla community.
Sì.
Vuole far sì che la community diventi qualcosa. Quindi è bene di magari farci una call per allineare, diciamo,
Mhm.
per allineare perché potrebbe avere idee così. Diciamo,
Sì.
non penso che si voglia fermare all'evento.
Mhm.
Cioè, l'altra volta in due battute mi è sembrato di capire che avesse, diciamo, una sua idea.
Mhm.
Ha detto I want to make the community to the next level, eccetera. Beh, che cosa questo next level voglia dire, magari è bene affrontarlo in una riunione.
Sì. Eh. Chris credo che venga perché ha scritto, io gli ho scritto che stavo facendo un po' tardi, gli ho messo il pollice in su. Lui è abbastanza attendibile in genere.
Ah, Chris, cioè, finora mi è sembrato abbastanza
Chris è
serio.
un pilastro, poi quando non può lo dice chiaramente, lo dice in anticipo. Eh, in realtà oggi avevo un sacco di punti da coprire.
Tra l'altro, una volta, magari anche quest'anno, durante le vacanze di Natale, facciamo una call così per parlare del più e del meno di cazzate.
Sì, ogni tanto si vogliono anche quelle.
Tanto sono cose
Però,
perché
per esempio, oggi ho fatto una call. Ti ricordi che Mark era andato in allarme perché diceva c'è questo Siddhartha Dash che ha fatto questa landing page per fare una community. Quindi io avevo fatto già una call con lui la settimana scorsa per capire un po' cosa avesse in mente e soprattutto volevo sapere quanta gente aveva raggranellato con quella landing page del bootcamp.org, no?
mm,
Dove lui diceva facciamo un network e c'era la scelta fra $1 l'anno, 12 per tutta la vita o no, non esiste, deve essere gratis. E mi ha spiegato il retroscena di questa cosa, quindi lui l'aveva creato prima di andare a bootcamp. Dopo che sono stati selezionati, lui si è detto, abbiamo soltanto una settimana, la community bisogna avviarla prima, dobbiamo cominciare a creare atmosfera prima, così quando arriviamo lì ci conosciamo già. E quindi credo che sia rimasto comunque allo stato embrionale, perché quando gli ho chiesto quanta gente c'era, così è stato un po' vago, non me l'ha detto. E quindi Mark è andato in falso allarme in pratica, io me lo immaginavo, perché comunque di iniziative così ce ne sono state e ce ne saranno sempre.
Certo.
Però parlando con lui è stato fantastico, perché comunque lui c'ha voglia di fare, è uno che c'ha voglia di fare, si vede. E avevo notato anche che lui ha scritto diversi articoli che aveva già pubblicato su Medium. Quando gli ho detto lo vuoi mettere sulla pubblicazione nostra, ha detto sì sì. E adesso mi chiedeva cosa posso fare per aiutare. Hi Chris!
Hey Chris!
Hi! We just caught a glimpse of you and then you disappeared.
Vabbè, comunque chiudo
E comunque lui aveva delle idee su come fare le interviste, poi vi racconto. Hi Chris.
Hey Chris.
Hey folks, how we going?
Good.
Doing great. I mean, here in Rotterdam is getting winter. I don't know about Rome, but pretty sure
it's getting...
in your place in New Zealand is getting spring, so.
Oh, it's nice out. Going for a big ride this weekend. Perfect weather. Yep, happy.
Yeah, you know, this kind of things that here we start to forget about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're pulling out the blankets and the sweaters and
yeah, you know, start to see. Actually,
not too much cold in the morning.
Very nice to have this frequent call with people on the other side of the world, because you know you realize how everything is relative.
Yes,
absolutely.
You know, you see that. You start to have lighter clothes, we start to have heavier ones, and there's always this mirroring.
Yeah, and when we're doing the Presencing Institute newsletter, we quickly realize we can't say, we hope you had a great summer, or, you know, because like half the people are in Australia and in, you know, Australasia, and it's not relevant to them. Actually, that started already when I was collaborating with Sally, who's from Brisbane, and we were doing like just campaigns on things, and I was, of course, in December, I was using Christmas trees and snow, and she was saying, no, let's put the picture up. Okay, so I think it's the three of us, because we didn't get a response from Dan, and I didn't send him a personal reminder today, so I think it's just us. And I don't know, are you all at your computer? I'm just going to copy the link and post it into chat for the document, so we can just go through this. Yeah, so Mark wanted to talk about Vision Mission Plan 2020. But he's not here. So is there anything you want to say, Tomas, about that? Or I'm not sure what Mark wanted to say about that. Okay,
well, definitely. I mean, I think that it's going to be good. It's going to be good to wait for Mark about that. But I just want to, in one minute, maybe two, but definitely not three. Let's say, just say to do a small recap, or at least that's the few impression which I took from the last weekly call. Even if I just finished a yoga class, I feel destroyed. So, well, I mean, I think that, so definitely, even that's after I thought about this, I think it's important to really have these local groups, which I think that they're going to give us a lot of structure, at least increase these network effects, which actually I think they're pretty valuable. I also discovered, I mean, there is a formula, Reed's formula, which shows that the network effect, the value become bigger because of these clusters. the cluster are the circle of Mighty Network. That's why the Mighty Network as a social network introduced the circles. But those clusters can be also geographical constraints. So, and definitely gives more value to the community itself. And the value goes exponential. So math works. Yeah, I think this is one point that I think is somehow useful to stress out. Even if, of course, for example, in the Netherlands, I had no idea who took part of the bootcamp. Even if there are some, once in a while I receive some LinkedIn message, I think twice at least. But since, I mean, actually it's funny, I mean, I have no incentive to meet those people, but I really would love to meet Chris. So it's like, maybe, I don't know if these geographical things make sense, but maybe for many people it helps. Last time when I went to Boston, thanks to me, which again came from Europe, 2 bootcampers who studied, 3 people who studied there between Harvard and MIT, they got together because I asked them, yeah, why don't you invite others? I ended up being 5. I said, oh, we should spend more time together. It's very cool. So, but maybe you need to bring, I mean, some elements, so gather those, but otherwise, it's always, I mean, in case you live in Paris, you never go to Louvre. So yeah,
That's
it's
true.
there.
Exactly. That's so true.
Yeah. So maybe for the same reason, okay, why I should meet somebody who's from the bootcamp who lives in Rotterdam, you know? And maybe, I don't know, we should find a thing, because after it, they shared the WhatsApp number, and now I hope they're gathering more. But we should find a reason. It could be somebody came, or I don't know, there is an event.
Some people are catalysts, because we have a group like this. I have a group of we are 4 women who meet up, but 3 of us live in Rome, and we never get together. We only get together when our friend from Munich comes and she says, hey girls, let's meet up, and then we cluster. And we always say, wow, this is amazing. So it's partly also because maybe we don't want to meet up when our 4th friend isn't here. So there's this funny paradox.
Yeah, absolutely. So
no, I definitely see the same thing with, I've got a large cohort of people that I grew up with in the US. And when I get back every year, it's usually around July, August, we'll get about 30 people together. And it doesn't really happen. And this has been going on for nearly 20 years now. And it doesn't really happen. Like, it's funny, because I ask Bill, like, so when's the last time we talked to so-and-so? When's the last time we talked to so-and-so? And there's like, it's like Facebook communication, but sort of the in-person meetings don't seem to happen unless there are sort of a certain 1 or 2 people around. It's funny that, like, almost like, yeah, catalyst, I think is the right word, like a hub. There's just something about certain people that makes these things happen in person, I guess. Yeah, it's a funny one.
Yeah,
human nature.
Exactly. So I mean, I think so. This has to be considered, because I think that, I mean, in case we want to go for giving people a chance to meet locally, we need to give them some reason, or find the catalyst in each group.
I think it needs something. It's something to do with the so-called urgency factor. So I think it worked for the mini reunions because we set like a window. And so when there's something that gives you the sense that you either do it or the occasion is like the opportunity is over, then people activate, because otherwise you'll say, oh, it's like the same thing also with Alessandra Berto. Alessandra Berto lives in Rome. We meet up when there's someone from elsewhere. So when Pavel from Moscow came, I met up with Alessandra Berto. When Line from your boot camp, Chris, was she from your boot? Line Colling, when she was here.
The name sounds familiar.
You call her Line.
Line. Oh yeah.
Line.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So when she was here, I met up with. So I only meet up with Alessandra Berto, who's in my city, when someone else comes in.
Yeah.
Because we have like a compelling reason to do it today and not tomorrow, because that person is here now. So I'm sitting with this question mark about locality based. Also because locality based means that someone needs to hold the weight of that and be like the cheerleader for that. And it sort of feels just kind of heavyweight. So I think it's worth investigating, but I'm not sure it's a good formula. Or
Yeah.
it could be, but we have to create windows where people can just really laser focus their energy. So, for example, they know it's the last week in August or the first week in September, because nobody wants to be kind of just working at something. And in my perception, also this alumni reunion thing, it's been going on for so long now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, oh, it's never going to take off. It's like this plane that's just been rolling on the runway, and it hasn't got this thing that can give it the push. It's almost been going on for too long. We've been planning it for almost 2 years now, and I don't know how we can get the oomph back into this. And meanwhile, bootcamp team has come and gone and changed and everything. So this is kind of nuts.
No, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. But let's say, I mean, I think that tomorrow I want to challenge the meet. I'm going to text to somebody who's in Rotterdam, and let's see what happens. But yeah, we need to give people reasons. Yeah, so this is one point which remained even after I intensive yoga class. And second one, which actually, I mean, I sort of took it from this job, sort of test and Swabit, coming back somewhere. So in Swabit now we are, because of this clustering law, the network effect emphasis, we are switching to the concept of communities. So location-based, yes, still there, but community-based. So for example, and actually, we as our target group on the other side, there could be co-working spaces like the where we are here. So I spent some time to interview the co-working space people who are, I mean, they promote themselves not only, you don't share spaces, you want to create a community. So this community concept came back to my head every time. So, and actually, so by speaking with them, and some people want to maybe try and swap it as well. It's like, so people are going to share their time. Let's say, you know, it's sort of, I mean, like, I mean, you can rent rooms, empty rooms, Airbnb. And this approach, you could rent 1 hour of your time. And I mean, let's say, but it has to be for a reason. You'd say, I'm an expert in marketing, and I want to share my hour with somebody who helped me with designing my website, you know? It could be this. So there is no money involved, just a sort of sharing economy of your skills. And this is, I think this is a feature we are going to try on Swabit. Just after we are going to unlock this community. So you are part of these co-working spaces, you join the community through a password to avoid that other people arrives, like the security things we implemented in the bootcamp. And after a year, since everybody's a startup, more or less, everybody needs help, and nobody wants to pay for consultants, I can say, hey guys, I can give you 1 hour of my time, you know, and we can, but I want an hour of somebody time, you know, could be do des, like in Latin used to say. So, and this could be something which is really pop up from the conversation of these co-working spaces. And they would be very interested to put money in this kind of things. And I think that every community is pretty much the same. So people are there because they want to share time together, but they're there for a reason, because they want to gain something. That's why, I mean,
I definitely like the idea. I definitely like the idea of that Tommaso has of almost sort of like a barter place, a barter opportunity to sort of exchange time for time and helping each other out. It's sort of like an impromptu consultancy in a way. You know, and it's not sort of criticizing the idea. Far from it. I think it's great. I do think we'll find that if it is successful, we'd find that some people's time would be viewed very quickly as far more valuable than others. So say, if, let's just say, Tommaso, you're a technical co-founder, and I'm just like some guy who's good at marketing, who likes to put AI into everything, but I don't really know anything about it. You know, you would be able to help me enormously. And my value to you and saying, hey, just put AI in your marketing is not going to be of much value to you. So that's probably the only thing I see is like, I think we'll see like, it'll be sort of asynchronous. I think we'll see some people's time will be viewed very quickly as more valuable than others, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we'll be able to see more easily like what people need. It's like with what YC says is that if you want to do something, maybe you should learn how to code, things like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, imagine, let's say, in case Bill Olet offers his time. I mean, his lot will be out super fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, I mean, that's why somehow it came back this serendipity token. So let's say you get consultancy, you get credits, you can spend, I mean, maybe 1 hour of build costs 4 credits, while 1 hour of this marketing consultant costs half credits. So you can make an economy out of this.
Agreed.
Based on ratings, based on feedback and ratings.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that maybe in the next 6 months we are going to put on Svarby, because it's just 3 features that, I mean, in case we go in this direction, I will let you know, but I have no problem to share. Actually, I mean, people simply get used, and it's a different context. And it's going to give me a way to learn how startup react to this. I personally this year spent at least 10,000 euro on fake consultants, you know, and I would be maybe 2 hours of somebody like you or somebody else would have saved me a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move on to a few words about the venture scaling meeting? So I had a question, Tommaso, did Chelsea connect with you about this? Because she wrote to me saying, she wrote to me, so is Tommaso interviewing my guy? And I said, Chelsea, what are you talking about? And she was, I think she wanted to, she had an idea of how to create a game plan about engaging with the venture scaling people. And I said, well, you know, just connect with Tommaso.
She hasn't contacted me, but I mean, what I'm going to do about this tomorrow, later, before going to sleep, I'm going to send a message to this guy from India.
Yeah. So I don't know. I trust you. I trust you to just do what you think needs to be done. Like Chelsea, she's very structured, right? So she likes to have her. You remember how she did her presentations? She likes to have her thing mapped out and everything. So he said, okay, fine. I don't know whether she was a bit annoyed or I don't know what she had in mind, but I said, Chelsea, if you want to speak with Tommaso, just speak with Tommaso.
Well, of course. And actually, I mean,
I can't be arranging your meeting with Tommaso.
Absolutely, please don't do that.
But just to let you know, so she had some kind of an expectation, which I'm not sure what it was, and she calls that person her guy, whatever that means. I think she wanted to interview. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that guy.
Okay.
It works.
So, do you need anything from us? So, well, at the moment, I was looking at the event. So, the RSVP on the Mighty Networks has 13 people saying they're attending and 5 maybes. I'll send reminders tomorrow, and maybe I'll also post the link into Facebook last minute, which I usually do, because then some people see it and just jump on. But I'm expecting, seeing the numbers, I'm guessing there's probably going to be, maybe up to 10 people, possibly, if we remind everyone. I think we could get up to 10 people. So is there any other, like anything you need from me?
No. But let's say, just let's say to align our so actually I just see on the Mighty Network there is just another lady who participated in the same bootcamp, Ivona Fruda.
Oh yeah, she's from Switzerland.
Yeah, she's from Switzerland.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are already 2. I'm going to remind that guy, and so
cool.
I mean, let's say the idea I think is let's say at least the way I intended is could be a way to, you know, could be the first test experiment of a format that maybe we can do. Let's say bootcampers who came back from a certain bootcamp, they share their knowledge with people who couldn't attend. So, because I mean, I would be personally interested to listen some story about sport boot camp.
Yes.
And I mean, in the future, this stuff can become a formal. Let's say, just say it could be some time about curiosities. Let's say just to see how the bootcamp team evolve its processes, because I'm curious. And actually, this question came out every time there is a conversation on different classes. Oh, your team, your people did it this way. We did it this way.
Yes,
So,
the differences.
It's nice to keep updated because somehow those are, I mean, smart people. It's nice to see how they process their information. And the biggest part is sharing the knowledge in a fast way. I mean, as I said, I have no problem to share slides. I don't know if there is copyright, any blah, 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 blah. Let's say if we find a way which is not, okay, Tommaso is sharing slides, I would be happy to do it. And actually, I think these slides can be a trigger for people to get some emails, to get some data. So as I told you last time, but so this could be something we could think of.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing this, that when they're new graduates, there's actually like a kind of mixer call for them to tell about their experience. It's kind of the reverse of what Chris and I did for those who were preparing for boot camp. Remember when we did that call with Andrew, where we as ex boot campers were giving insights to people who were preparing to go, and like what you should look for, and next steps, and how to not overdo it, and how you should boot camp and all that. So this reverse format would be quite nice too. Yeah.
And I mean, I think this could be a format, you know.
So you're not. Are you thinking of this in terms of an interview? No, right, Tommaso? It's just a chat.
No, I mean, I think that I mean, the way I see that, I mean, maybe there could be, you know, my idea is just to pass to people some knowledge, some concepts, the one that, I mean, most important, without going to every business case, because first of all, I remember then it will take 3 days instead of 30 minutes. And I mean, and in case people are interested, they can send me an email, like I'm going to send them the slides. Maybe this is the easiest way. The emails I get and share with you. But even if, I mean, in this case, they're already part of my network, so we already have their emails. But
so you had access to each other's emails in this cohort?
I think so, actually, because we used a platform which is called Novo AD, where the bootcamp team puts the material there and people have to download it from there.
Okay.
While, for example, think about differences in my class in Brisbane, there was a Dropbox folder, the Dropbox.
Yes.
So very hacky. This time was a bit more professional. And people there, they need to submit their presentations. So I'm pretty sure in every presentation I can find the emails.
Okay.
So I have no problem. I mean, it will take me 30 minutes, but I can get maybe 70% of the email for sure.
Okay. Right. Open Collective. Ta-da.
When do we want to start? When do we want to start?
Yeah. So what is missing for this to start?
Well, I guess it's a question of, do we have, maybe it's confusion on my part. I wasn't sure. I mean, I know we've kind of got consensus so far from the people from all the cohorts, but do we have the permission of the governance board to actually kick this off and get it going?
I'd say yes. I think we should try it, because otherwise we just go into analysis paralysis. I think we have enough interest from the survey. So we had more than 40% of definite yeses, and another 40% of people who say yes, but I don't know enough. And I think they just didn't take the time to read. And we're not doing anyone harm by trying it. So I think I would just go with it.
Cool. All right. What do you reckon, Tommaso? You on board as well?
Of course, yes. And also,
Awesome.
I will also give you some reinforcement, because actually I think that the fact that we have a legal entity, or we are a bit more institutionalize, is going to give us much more power in speaking with the bootcamp team. And I think I quote, or Dean Words is this association is going to help a lot the process. I don't know what he meant, but he say this kind of words. So, I mean, just to summarize, it looks very positive, the things we are associating officially.
I also remember one of the people had added in the fields where in the survey you could add comments. I remember someone writing that if there were this thing, he or she would actually be already contributing something. And I think that is interesting. I just think it would create a possibility. The only issue I've come across is some people are saying, oh, the cut is too high. But I think, what is it? Even if it's a 15% cut on something, it's more than 0% cut on nothing, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is from what I'm seeing in other organizations I'm involved with, is people are increasingly time poor. So I think if we're going to exchange some of our people's volunteers' time for a slice of future revenue, so be it. We're not talking about massive sums of money either, but it will be a massive amount of time otherwise. So yes. I guess my thought is I'm a bit aggressive on this. If people think that it's too much of a cut, then I'd say, awesome. You can volunteer to do this by hand.
That is a very good way to throw the ball back into their court. I like that. Okay, so maybe just for procedural reasons, I'll just run a communication across the governance board, like just an email where everyone says, yes, I confirm that I...
Cool. That would be good, yeah. So if we got something in writing, and then from there, I think we've got myself and Mark down on that. I will jump on it immediately because the week ahead's looking okay. Well, after this weekend, I've got a big motorcycle event on this weekend, but when I get back, I'm good for next week. So wonderful. We can get the bare bones of it knocked out between Mark and I, and then what we'll do is we'll back brief the governance board because I guess our next meeting is in 2 weeks' time. Within 2 weeks, we will be all up to speed, and we'll make sure we back brief the governance team as well. Okay. You know, because what I believe in here is we're going to need a couple of admins. So my guess is we'll probably want to have, say, Mark and I as lead, and then the other three folks that we've got, you know, yourself, Tommaso, Daniel, as, say, admins as well. So we've got enough oversight on this. But we also don't want you, Tommaso, Daniel, to have to do much work with it. It's more a question of, is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down type of thing. Does that make any sense? And then as needed, we'll bring in the likes of Nancy and all that. So anything that's related to fundraising for the reunion type activities, we'll bring people in case by case as needed. And that would go through the governance board would be my guess. Is like, you know, we do a quick vote. Is everybody cool with Nancy being on as an admin for Open Collective? Yes, no, whatever. And then when that activity is done, we can move people on, so forth and so on.
Okay, that sounds great. And if I think yes, a few people had volunteered. I think it's written somewhere like who said I'm here to help. There's Panya, I think. I can't remember, but it's written somewhere. And if you have any like if you need more staff or more people on the task team, just let me know. And I think we have people who are interested in helping, like even Siddhartha, who's now working on the alumni interview things. But some people are just saying like, awesome. What would you like me to do? Which is
cool.
Nice.
The best thing about this whole Open Collective is that every single transaction in and out can be seen by everybody. And I just think that's beautiful. You know, we've talked about since day one of being transparent. We can just say, if anybody has any questions, we can just send them a link and say, here, have a look. And then just keep checking this link. Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I can't see anything better so far for what's needed now. I think it's the quickest and simplest and most transparent way to be handling it. And even those people who don't really understand yet what it's about, they'll just understand by seeing it if they take the time to look.
Absolutely.
And as you were explaining to us, Chris, we can always unwind this if we don't like it. We jump off it if it's not suitable at some point. So we could
Exactly.
Experiment our way forward.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Then I wanted to share a quick word. So there was this request to join our network, and it wasn't like a whole community asked to join. It was just this one person whom Tommaso and I met in the context of Bill's book launch. So he is someone who went through EDP, which is Entrepreneurial Development Program, which is, from what he told me, it's exactly what we did at Bootcamp, except it's not open learning. So it has the cost of a Sloan School of Management program. So they did the same, basically more or less the same as we did in 1 week, from creating a company to pitching to investors, except they paid 11K just for the course, and they had Bill on it. So they're kind of in between us and real MIT graduates sort of thing. And he ended up almost by mistake in the MIT Italy club because he said after he got in, he then understood that that was actually for the real graduates of MIT. So I'd approached him about a month ago saying, hey, I know you're from the MIT Italy club. Can you become our point person for creating this umbrella thing for our association? And that's where he explained to me, well, actually, my membership is kind of dodgy. So I don't think I have the grounds to be doing this for you. But he's asked me twice, like, can I join your network? So I suddenly was thinking, wow, so our network might start to be appealing to some people from outer circles. So I did run like just a fun poll inside the Mighty Networks. And at the moment, we have some results regarding that, which I'm looking at now. So not that many people answered, but we have like, so do you think we should open this alumni network of ours to external entrepreneurial circles, for example, allowing alumni from the Sloan? So I think Sloan EDP is already, it's a very specific network, and it would be different from, say, another kind of network, because my concern is like the imprinting that we have is that we've been through the 1 week crucible. So if people from EDP have done it in 1 week as well, they have a similar foundation, and they also have the 25th step, which if we opened it to someone from elsewhere who hasn't even read Bill's book, then there would be a different premise. Anyhow, the possibilities for answering were yes, yes, but subject to membership fee and restrictions, or no way. So the no way only got 11%, and that's 3 people. And most people said yes, and some said with restrictions. So I think it's just worth thinking about, but we should also reverse the question and not just be responding to a situation, but actually, and this ties in with vision and mission, what is it we want to actually be creating? And then from that, we can make our decisions, because Tommaso was also observing that if we were to decide, for example, that our mission goes beyond MIT Bootcamp and we actually want to be an entrepreneurial network and not necessarily just restricted to MIT Bootcamp, then that might mean we are no longer courting Bootcamp team anymore, and we completely detach from them. We now have the licensing office connection, so they have sent recommendations back. I don't know whether you saw the email, or did I write an email? Anyway, yesterday, the guy from TLO office said, your publication is okay, but you need to change this and that. So Shantanu and I have made some edits to the blog, and I've resubmitted and saying, is this the right way to go? So once we get okay from them, our blog is like cleared. And as long as we comply with the rules, then I don't think we'll get into trouble. So that means we don't need to actually rely on Bootcamp team from that point of view. So that's just to say that we can take this in many different directions. So maybe one thing we need to ask ourselves is like, how do we actually want to define this vision and mission? And is it only to do with, do we want it to just be about Bootcamp, or do we want it to be something else? And then our decisions will derive from that. So we're kind of at a crossroads, in the sense that we've gained momentum and we can make choices probably one way or the other. And maybe we could just think about that as we define our mission. And yeah, we might want to just keep the connection with MIT strongly for now, or for a while at least. or whatever.
Yeah, my personal thoughts on it is that we want to try to nurture that relationship almost like at least at a liaison level until we've got more time to sort of absorb it. Because my thoughts is that if there's enough commonality, there's MIT Sloan, so it's under the same global MIT umbrella. It's a similar time period. It's a similar framework of 24 steps. So I would be thinking that we're separate but equal, but we're close enough to be able to be strongly or closely affiliated with it. So in that respect, I think would be good, but it's also sort of future-proofing it. There's a lot of people that do like MIT executive education short courses. If they came in, and what would we do with them? You know, so do we want to water down what we're doing? So at this stage, I'd be thinking we'd want to consolidate the gains that we've got before we expand beyond boot camps. But yeah, like maintain and nurture the relationship. If we were to formalize it down the track, I think we just defer that decision down the track a bit and just see how we go. Because we're kind of consensus driven as opposed to authoritarian driven. So if we had an authoritarian in control, we'd be able to make a decision, but we're consensus driven. It doesn't feel like we've got strong consensus yet. So maybe we just defer it for now.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So,
Yeah, I mean, actually, I totally agree. And also, I mean, somehow, let's say, while you were speaking, it came to my mind the Bill case about the
Lamborghini.
The Lamborghini guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somehow we need to stick to our customers. And
yes, correct. You just need to say Lamborghini story and I get it immediately.
Yes, because I mean, in Italy we listen 10 times.
That's like been drilled into us. That was also like the flagship case that Bill brought to Italy too. Yeah. Okay, and so I spoke with this Siddhartha Dash guy, and he's really interesting. So he was super proactive before his bootcamp started. So this landing page that Mark got all excited about, like, oh, somebody's copying us. He actually launched it after he got accepted into bootcamp, but before he went, and he wanted to start nurturing the network before their week of bootcamp started. And I don't think he got enough numbers, and he was anyway, I think he was just addressing the people from his cohort. So I don't think anything really came out of it, because I asked him, but he was a little bit vague about that. He was interested though in helping to build the community, and I've noticed he's publishing articles, and interesting articles too. So he was interested in the alumni profiling initiative, which is great because I need journalists for that. So I shared with him the templates for creating interviews. I walked him through it. So we met once last week and again today. And he raised a really interesting question, because he was thinking ahead already. Because I told him, like, the idea was it'd be great if we had an interview on everyone. And he says, well, once we have 800 or 1,000 interviews, how do we make sense of them? So he was already thinking in terms of how do we create actually a database from that in a way that, like, none of us is going to go read all 800 articles. So he came up with the idea of extracting some kind of a word cloud from every article, and to create almost like a stamp for each article, which might be a word cloud, some keywords, and maybe one key sentence, so that when we are looking for someone with certain attributes or skills or expertise, we can zoom in on that and go read that article as just opposed to us presuming everyone's going to read all the articles, which is not plausible, right? So he is exploring that idea, and he's going to create just a workflow for creating this word cloud thing. I said, so he says he's going to analyze 10 of these articles and create a process for making these word clouds. So we start to classify. And then I'm going to interview him next Wednesday. And in return, he's going to interview someone else afterwards, once he gets the hang of it. So that way we can maybe start scaling the interviews. but it was nice to connect with him also to kind of dispel the suspicious attitude of saying, oh, someone's come. Like, we're all trying to do the same thing, so we might as well row together and go in the same direction, right?
Yeah, this is great.
It was so funny because last week, the first time I spoke to him, he was lying in bed and he had this pillow with like pink flowers. I was thinking, are you okay? I thought he was like, he was injured or something. And he told me he was in a position to catch the Wi-Fi to connect. Anyway, it was really funny. Today he was in his office and all looking completely, I was a bit freaked out the first time. I thought, oh, this is a loony guy.
Well, he's definitely one of us.
Yes, he'll fit in well.
But actually, I mean, your point connected with, let's say, bootcamp point, gave me an opportunity, an idea. I just want to share with you before I forget. Somehow, let's say, definitely, I mean, the bootcamp, the MIT bootcamp, they have a problem to, let's say, nurture, let's say, the alumni before the bootcamp. Let's say they always ask in the survey that I just feel just after the last bootcamp, there was a specific question: how would you improve the pre-bootcamp experience? So for them, improving the bootcamp experience is a big problem, and, because they don't have manpower, basically. And so what they do, in our case, in the Scaling case, they invite us to attend 2 conferences, webinar, not even conference. So somebody speaks, you listen. So slightly more interactive than a YouTube video. But so basically they have a problem because of lack of manpower of handling the pre-bootcamp experience. And Siddhartha had the genius idea: why don't you start the community before people do? So my proposal is just, why don't we offer the bootcamp team that our community does the pre-bootcamp experience, which could be similar to the call you and Chris did with Andrew. So I mean, somehow people start to see our faces. We already collect their email before they go and so they're already part of the community before, you know, and they already see value. And actually, we can already give them value. We can give already the 24 steps. They can see the video, the online videos. So
have you been doing the negotiations course on creating value, making the pie bigger?
Here you go.
Chris, did you see like this thing about giving feedback in exchange for getting the certificate in negotiations?
Absolutely, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I signed up for that because I think we need to start negotiating with bootcamp team. I have to figure out why we didn't.
Yes.
More yeses.
I totally agree. But actually, I mean, this could be an opportunity for us because I think they will be open for this.
I think so, also because we already did it, and we could refer back to that and even send them like, look, this is the link of what we did, because I have them on YouTube, of course, and that would be a very good bargaining asset. I think we could actually do that. I love that idea. Thanks, Tommaso, for bringing that up.
Because I mean, for sure they have no interest or
time
or many other stuff to do to help us to connect with the alumni after the bootcamp. But
Andrew was there before, and he's not anymore. So, and we've done it with him. So maybe we could carry on the legacy of that. That would be nice. And we could do it anyway. I mean, even we would just need to be linked with those people before, because now our link is afterwards through the Facebook group. Now we wouldn't be able, as you know, currently we have no way of.
Yeah, exactly. But
so it's something we could, and this brings me to the next point, which is communications with bootcamp team. So apparently, yeah, Nancy knows this already, and I didn't know that she's already been on a call with Anine. So Anina is a new entry in the bootcamp team. I happened to see her because I connected on the Facebook live stream when they were doing the networking alumni event in Sao Paulo. And so there's this Anina who is, I think, half Swedish, half American. and she's the new kind of chief of staff in bootcamp team, even though she's been working at MIT since 10 years. And she, I wrote to her, and she seems to be quite responsive. So we might have someone that we can actually speak to properly at bootcamp team.
Awesome.
I'm going to explore this. And Nancy told me, no, sorry, Lucy said she was on one of the previous calls with the reunion planning team, one of the calls I wasn't at. So she seems to be quite a sunny personality. I don't know her yet. I haven't spoken to her, but she might have the energy and the attention that we've been wanting to find. So question mark still to be explored, but I'm feeling more optimistic, I think, because she's responded to my email basically, which is already a good start. So the TLO update, that's already outdated because they've already responded to us and I've re-responded to them. So I think that's on track. And reunion sponsorship. So I've been connecting with Ryan Lee. So he's this smart study guy, the guy of Baby Shark. And he's a super busy person, but I kind of put it out to him that we are planning the reunion and trying to see whether we can engage him in any kind of way. But he's so big, he might not even be interested. I don't know. Let's see what comes of it.
You can give us money.
Huh?
You can give us money.
Exactly. So once we have Open Collective, we can say, hey, here, you can, if you want to gift. I was also hoping maybe he could come and speak, but he's speaking at Web Summit, so it might not be his ideal thing to be coming to bootcamp reunion. I don't know. You never know. So I'll try and keep poking him nicely without getting on his nerves, I hope. And he joined the Mighty Networks the other day, where he wasn't. So I kind of I said, oh, I see you're not on the Mighty Networks, but I just published this update about you. I want to tag you. Why don't you come in? So I sent him the link and he joined. But I don't really imagine he'll be using the platform very much. He's there. And what else? Yeah, that's it. I've gone through my points. And I think, so next, so yeah, Chris, so I think the venture scaling tomorrow is going to be like that works at your 5, was it? Or is it your 2? No.
I think it might be 5. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it tomorrow.
Exactly. I was going to say,
yeah.
we'll record it, so don't worry. And
I'm going to send you the slide, Chris. Don't worry.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
And I think, yeah, that's about it.
There was the final thing in there was the LinkedIn. We've got a LinkedIn group, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
When I saw that, I was a bit nervous. I was like, did I create that, not do anything with it, or does somebody else have that? I can't remember.
I think I created it, but I can't remember. So it was ages ago when we had a core team doing roster shifts, and someone said, I think, was it Israel? Somebody said, oh, we should have a LinkedIn page. And I remember I just created it to bookmark it, and I only did one post. And then LinkedIn once the other day said to me, hey, you haven't posted in your page for a long time. So I thought might as well put some news into it. So I put the news into it that was not linking to anything from the protected spaces that are to do with Mighty. So the thing is, I didn't want to have lots of people asking to join Mighty Networks who are not supposed to be asking. So I've just shared the news that could be outwards facing. And because I was feeling confident that we're kind of okay with the licensing office, I wasn't intending to like really be concentrating on that, but it's just something that we've put there because someone said, why don't we just create the page so that before someone else does it? So we've got it there, but is it making you nervous, Chris?
Oh, no, not at all. Because I've just found it. Yeah, no, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, did I forget to do something? No, all good. I found it. Okay.
So it's just to have a presence on LinkedIn, and I put a few posts. So the posts about Bill Olet's blog, the articles that have been published, some of our news.
Now seeing looks good.
Yeah, just so that's not completely empty. There was just this one post to declare what we're doing. And when we have like maybe like a yearly or a 6-month update, we just put some news in there.
Mhm.
It also helped me to kind of focus, like, what can we tell, what can we tell the rest of the world about what we're doing?
Mhm.
Kind of. So yeah, just that.
Agreed.
Okay. Oh, and this call is recorded. I forgot, I set these up to record automatically, so then we can share it back into the circle for whoever wants to watch.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
So next to-dos, I'll just write a quick recap. We just have a few to-dos, but I think we all know what we should be doing. And yeah, I think we just need to support the reunion planning a little bit and coordinate. I just feel that there's this big gap in communicating it. Some people are saying, what, there's an alumni reunion? And I think we should really be talking about it more in the group. And we probably need to ask Bootcamp to help communicate this, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for your time. Both.
No worries. Good talking to you, team. We'll talk again soon. Next time you see my face, we'll have Open Collective up and running.
Yay!
I promise.
And let us know if there's anything that needs to be supported in any way.
We should find a way to celebrate online. I don't know, open a champagne simultaneously.
Boom! Yeah,
Absolutely, that'll be good.
We could do a celebration event online.
I mean,
definitely.
So actually, I mean, one thing that I learned in a startup is since you have many failure or learning, you need to celebrate every small bit.
The successes. Yeah. Amplify that a bit. True.
Definitely.
Okay. So
awesome, team. We'll take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.